Hello everyone, I am Clewley from Imperial College London. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to the organising committee for managing to deliver Vicephec this year and bring us all together again. I'm delighted to speak to you today and share some of my thoughts and work on staff-student partnerships, particularly in the light of the turbulent times of the pandemic and what challenges and opportunities lie ahead now that there finally appears to be some light on the horizon once more. Hence the title of my talk, Partners in Learning Through Times of Crisis. To me, learning, both as a student and an instructor, continually looking to improve what I do, learning is a journey, and this striking painting by Rembrandt, to me, appears the perfect metaphor of what I want to talk to you about today. The ship in the storm will only make it if its crew learns to work together, as partners if you like. My talk will look at how we, staff and students, have learned to work together to weather the storm, and whether we may have, perhaps inadvertently, created a stronger sense of partnership that we can build on in the years ahead. But first of all, let's try and answer this crucial question. What exactly is staff-student partnership? The most widely known discussion of staff-student partnerships can be found in this comprehensive HEA publication from 2014 by Mick Healey, Abby Flint, and Kathy Harrington. In this publication, the authors discuss this scale of student engagement in higher education activities, ranging from consultation at its lowest level of ownership to partnership at the highest level, which is described here as there is a collaboration between an institution, faculty or department and student involving joint ownership and decision-making over both the process and outcome. I would like to highlight here the use of the words joint ownership, not just of the outcome, but also of the process. That means that students have a say on how work is undertaken, as well as what exactly the outcome will be. The values of partnership that Healey et al. Present in this publication are shown here on the right. Fundamental are the ideas that the partnership is authentic. All parties have a meaningful rationale for investing and getting involved in a partnership. Inclusivity. The partnership embraces the different talents, perspectives, and experiences that all parties bring. And there are no barriers, either structural or cultural, that prevent potential partners getting involved. Reciprocity. All parties have something to gain from working in a partnership. And of course, empowerment. Power is distributed appropriately between the different partners. And that means all parties are encouraged to contribute and challenge the ways of working and learning. To balance this highly conceptual view of partnership, here I share some views from the shop floor, so to speak. These are responses that some of our staff partners gave when asked what partnership means to them. Partnership to me means you do something together and you both get something out of it. It's where a number of parties get together and try to use each of their strengths to balance the other's weaknesses and then make the most of how they can come together with their particular skills. Working together to achieve a common goal. The partnership to me means both parties being in it for the product that together they are trying to develop. These staff partners are research-focused academics. We can be pretty sure they never actually read Healey et al.'s report, but it's quite interesting that you can see that their responses clearly echo the values defined by Healey et al. Staff-student partnership projects are high on the agenda for many higher education institutions. They can cover a wide range of areas, such as developing learning and teaching, as well as assessment materials, designing curricula, and also research, be it subject-based or pedagogic scholarship. Many UK universities now have institution-wide schemes to encourage these projects, and as well an ethos of partnership. At Imperial College, for example, we have Student Shapers, which funds and supports staff-student partnerships. And here are some local examples of successful projects in physics and chemistry at Imperial. You may have heard of some of these. A very popular module in chemistry at Imperial is the chemical kitchen, which was developed in staff-student partnership. And during the pandemic, the physics department created a lab in a box, which was sent to physics students' homes throughout the world. Here on the left, you see the normal equipment that you would have in a lab. And then on the right is what was sent to the students in the box. We even have partnership projects looking at how to redesign our actual spaces. This is the Blackett Laboratory, to create better environments for our learning communities. My own largest partnership project is ImpVis. It's an ongoing project to create interactive visualizations for use in many of our courses throughout college. ImpVis has been running since 2017, and it has already produced hundreds of visualizations. We have had many dozens of students who've all been part of our team. Some of them entered in their first year and have stuck with us throughout their entire degree course and are now graduates. We have a strong community of staff and students working and learning together as well to implement new ideas. And all this newly gained knowledge is passed on from student to student as our community expands. And of course, students join but also leave after graduation. We don't want to lose any of our newly gained knowledge. Here, just for a minute, I will show you ImpVis. This is our website. And if you click on visualizations, you go to teach. You can browse our full range of visualizations. So down here, you can either browse through all of them, through the many pages, or indeed you can search by category. So for example, if you're interested in mechanics, you can browse here, find mechanics, and then you'll find all the relevant visualizations. Now you can launch them here to use them in your own lecture course, or if you'd prefer students to access this at a later point from home, you can tag them for your own lecture course. And if you've done that, then when a student goes to learn, they can here browse to your specific module and, for example here, find the visualization you tagged for them so they can work with it. And this is for anyone's use. It's open source. It's not restricted to Imperial. So you can sign up as any instructor from any institution and start creating your own collections of visualizations for your module, or simply use them in your lectures, for example. ImpVis is built on 3 fundamental principles, which are there to promote true partnership between staff and students. They are, first of all, mutual respect. Which means really that all parties realise that each of them bring their own expertise to the project, and that should be equally valued, staff or student. The second is joint ownership, both of the development process and of the final visualization. So together you have to make decisions on how to work together and what the final product should be. And finally, shared responsibility, which means that everyone contributes, staff and students, but not in the same way. They're often focused on different aspects of the visualization. Now, all this, of course, sounds wonderful, but if you think about it, even with so many successful partnership projects running, necessarily projects will always be limited in scope. They are for a subset of students, although normally anyone can apply to take part in them. Certainly not everyone can. We just haven't got the funding for that, or indeed the people available all the time. And that means that the partnership landscapes look much like this picture. It's patches of fertile green in an otherwise undeveloped environment. And the challenge is, how do we grow and give all students the opportunity to become partners at some point during their degrees? I think the highest impact route would be to build staff-student partnerships into the curriculum itself, rather than in projects that are extracurricular. Of course, this is a big challenge because, for example, how would we reconcile the need for assessment with the underpinning values such as joint ownership, valuing both staff and students' expertise, and the fact that both staff and students should truly have a stake in a partnership? These are questions I've been asking myself for a while now, on a very practical level, like really thinking, how would you implement that? And I can tell you only one thing: I do not actually have the answers here in this talk. But I have been reflecting upon the very rapid change in learning and teaching that had to take place during the pandemic, and on how and why we managed it successfully in certain areas. I actually dare to hope we've made some progress, but in order to explain this, I have to first explain another aspect of my own setting. So here's the other part of my current role. Since mid-2019, I've been heavily involved in setting up and delivering iExplore, which is Imperial's brand new program of cross-curricular modules. iExplore is a college-wide program, and it's supposed to provide the opportunity for all undergraduates to broaden their perspective, give new context to their disciplinary knowledge, and share their expertise for the benefit of society. It's for all undergraduates. They all take part in iExplore, and they all need to pass their iExplore module in order to progress. So truly as part of their degree course. But the numerical mark will not be included in the calculation of their final degree result. So they do get a mark, but it doesn't carry any weight towards their degree. And that means that from its very inception, it was meant to be the ideal environment to trial new learning and teaching as well as assessment methods. Starting in October 2019, we designed many new cross-disciplinary STEM modules for iExplore. These designs were all approved by February 2020, and development had just started for first delivery in 2020-2021, this past academic year, when the pandemic struck 1 month later. Of course, that meant that the module teams rapidly had to redesign their modules for online delivery. This was, however, by no means straightforward. None of these courses were planned as straight-up lecture courses that could be recorded. None even planned assessment by exams. They're all designed to be highly interactive. They're often based on discussion. Some are even debate-focused. And on top of that, they had to cater for students from many different disciplines. And they were all, in turn, constrained by different requirements from all their home departments. So to redevelop their modules effectively, many module teams turned to staff-student partnership summer projects. Now, during the delivery, I speak of the module teams in terms of a community in their own right, we tried to be very flexible. The overarching attitude was one of, we are all in the same boat. There we go. We have to work together and make this happen. Now, can you see why I thought the Rembrandt picture was very apt? The flexibility in the delivery meant there was a high degree of inclusivity in the modules. Nobody was left behind. As this could only be done by students communicating their needs, they were encouraged to take responsibility and ownership of their learning. Having many elements of modules available asynchronously online also meant they had a greater control of how and when they learned. These modules were not designed to be delivered in partnership with the students who were taking them. There was only partnership in creating the modules. But even though in the delivery we can't say there was a true full partnership between staff and students taking the course, I think if we look at this list, inclusivity, responsibility, empowerment, many of the partnership principles were actually brought to the fore, probably unintentionally. It was during his first year of delivering iExplore, in the midst of the pandemic, that we decided to design a module integrated with the ImpVis project. A module that would intentionally be designed to incorporate partnership principle into the delivery itself, rather than having them come unintentionally to the fore. Our ImpVis team of staff and students have worked throughout the summer in an effort to align learning outcomes, teaching methods, and assessments with some fundamental principles. And we've created the module ImpVis, Designing Interactive Visualizations for Education. Now, what we decided was fundamental in order to make this happen and bring this partnership out in the delivery are the following 3 ideas. So in order for everybody to bring in their own perspectives and expertise, all the students as well as staff, the aim of the module is to co-create new knowledge on how to design interactive visualizations. We're not teaching a set syllabus of facts, because if you did that, that would put forward the staff member as the expert and diminish the role of the student. And then in the teaching methods and even assessments, we really thought about the focus on a sense of community, because that has been very strong in the ImpVis project. And we believe that that is where it supports the sense of partnership. It fosters the partnership, so to speak. So we're trying to get the students to work collaboratively, and not just in small groups, which they will do, but also supporting all the other groups' work and improving each other's work. So amongst the projects, each will actually improve the other project team's work. And that is supposed to help them move away from working competitively and trying to make their project the best so they can get high mark. And finally, students will partner with staff members on their projects who genuinely wish to have a visualization to implement in their modules. And this means their product, the visualization design, is authentic. At no point either will the staff partner assess the students, because that would skew the relationship, and it would be very hard to be seen as equals if one is assessing the other. Now, this module is set to run from October in Gathertown, in fact, just like this conference. So talk to me in January if you want to find out if we actually managed to make it work. Now, although to me the ImpVis module was hugely exciting, I also realized that this is only a small step towards bringing partnership opportunities to all students. After all, it's one module with a limited number of students. Also, it's intentionally delivered in the low-risk environment of iExplore. It's not in the core curriculum. So I haven't really answered, as I foretold, my own questions that I posed to you earlier. So I therefore am left with some questions that I think we should all ask ourselves if we believe that partnership is the way forward. So can we take it further from here? Students found they had to take greater responsibility over their learning over the past year. Where that went well, and I'm not saying it went well everywhere, it was a huge struggle, but let's try and learn from where it went well. Where it went well, they gained a new sense of control and ownership. Will students be able to keep doing so, taking control of their learning, taking greater responsibility and ownership? Will they perhaps not even tolerate anything less? And then on the other hand, we, as staff, in many instances turn to our students for help to make our modules work online. Can we retain this sense of we are in it together in our courses? And most of all, using these newfound values, behaviours, attitudes, when we are once again plain sailing post-pandemic, will we remain a well-practiced crew? Can learning, even in core modules, truly become a partnership venture? I leave these questions with you. I'll ponder them myself. I hope you'll find some inspiration in them as well. And let's all embark on this journey together.